There's our world in a snapshot right there. Oh boy. Callista Flockhart, who brought us Abby McBeal. What did Abby McBeal do? Well, one of the things, you notice how in each new sitcom and series, every decade it would come along. Every few years, the next show would push the satanic envelope further. So on her show, it was like there were lesbian relationships, and at the time it was like a little controversial. And it's like, oh, and you got them like having like French kissing on screen for everyone to see. This is how they do it. The devil knew like it had to be incremental. So it starts with like the 1960s, this explosion of like the drugs and the sex and the like raising your kids in communes and all that. And slowly that young generation becomes older. And next thing you know, like their kids are like they're getting a little more sophisticated than the hippie. And so they're playing like the 70s kind of progressive psychedelic rock, and it's getting like a little bit darker, and then you get like the metal and the death metal coming along, and you get the hair bands of the 80s, all of which corporate rock, all of it, it's all been brought to you by the same Hell's Kitchen. Doesn't matter who it doesn't matter if it's your super mainstream gospel singer, your mainstream pop singer, your cabaret singer, your rap artist, your gangster rap artist, your death metal musician. It's all brought to you by the God of this age. You have to know that. Okay, so Cameron Diaz. Yeah, Cameron. I remember that time in There's Something About Mary when you had something dripping off your face. And back then, because I was myself so lost, I laughed so hard. Thank you so much for your contributions to our culture. Cameron Diaz again, one eye. Camelia Cabello. Not sure who that is, but she's a Satanist. There she is again. Or Cult Multiple, whatever. However you want to describe it. There she is again with her buddy, I don't know, Bozzy One. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. So they just both. Guys, we're way past. This ain't a conspiracy theory. That's why I can come out and say, like, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not crazy. We're well past, like, this is just a conspiracy. No, it's, like, out there in the open, like, right in your face. Okay, little too sexual, but that was some one eye. This is a Canon camera. Dude, what is this? What is this? A clown show? I don't understand what's happening in the world. You know, Canon cameras. This is their advertisement. You know. Capital Steez is his name. Never heard of him, but he's some kind of music artist. Probably maybe a rap artist. I don't know. There's a lot of artists, too, that they'll do the American flag symbolism with the one-eyed symbolism. Just letting you know, man. They're letting you know this is like the updated version of what Jerry Garcia was doing when he was wearing like the Uncle Sam hat and singing in his song, like, I'm Uncle Sam, that's who I am. Been hanging out in a rock and roll band. It's the same thing. And have you ever asked yourself, I know, symbols don't mean nothing. Well, for symbols to mean, they don't mean what you think they do, Adam. Well, really, like, you know, clearly there's ambiguity around what all these symbols mean. And clearly our founding fathers had a great affinity for symbols. They put it on everything. Why is it that the stars on our flag look like pentagrams, like little goat heads? You know? You ever wondered why there were 13 colonies? Your world is a lie. 1776? Our country wasn't founded in 1776. You know what was? That thing that says Novus Seclorum. Novus Ordo Seclorum. New World Order. Right underneath it on the Great Seal of the dollar bill. The Bavarian Illuminati, that's what was founded in 1776. On May 1st, which is a satanic holiday. And who were the Bavarian Illuminati? You're right. What was officially once the Bavarian Illuminati does not officially outwardly exist anywhere. But they never really planned to. If you look into what the Illuminati actually wanted to achieve, they were about infiltrating all levels of society. Especially, they paid special attention to the Masonic lodges. And so the Illuminati didn't die out. It basically became like you know how the Knights Templar then kind of goes underground. They already diseased the society with their ideas, which essentially with the official Illuminati, the flesh and blood Illuminati that we're talking about, who of course were being manipulated by powers and principalities and the heavilies themselves, but we're talking about practical term Illuminati. You know, they made no bones about it. Adam Weishaupt in his writings, like they were trying to return society to like a pagan world. You know? And then the United States happens at, you know, a couple months later. Well, not exactly, not officially, but interesting. All right, Cara Delevingne. Poor girl. I really do. Like, this is another situation where I feel like that's her cast in some role as clearly as a witch. As a matter of fact, I can't remember what the name of this movie is, but she plays a witch all throughout the movie. Here she is hanging out with Rihanna. There you got the tongue thing again, but she loves you. It's an I love you one this time. Cara loves you. Rihanna wants to shoot you. I am not receiving mixed messages at all. It's very consistent. I always like it when people tell me I love you and I'm going to make a weird face and stick my tongue out. I'm totally down for that. Absolutely. I see where you're coming from. There you go again. Come on, man. That's some demonic stuff. That's demonic. Rihanna. I used to have a jacket like Rihanna. Back when I was trying to fit into the world. These celebrities, too. They like wear these things once. You know? It's not an exaggeration. They like wear that once. Once they've worn it once, it is no longer... it's old. You know? But they'll probably keep it. Here you go. I don't know. This just reminds me of the whole Anna Nicole Smith thing. That's why I saved this one. But whatever. I'm sure you could, as part of some kind of photo shoot. With the white background, it doesn't quite look like a Terry Richardson shoot. You can kind of... The guy does have a style. But it could be from a Terry Richardson shoot. But the lighting's not Terry Richardson style lighting. Terry Richardson is actually a horrible photographer. Like, he literally... It's like white background with, like, horrible lighting. And I'll snap a photo of you throwing up an Illuminati pose. Thank you very much. That's it. And these people get paid tons of money. Here she looks... I don't even know what to say. That's... her. Her? The first time I saw that picture, I was like, that looks like a boy. But beyond that looks like a boy, that looks like some poster for a Who concert. You know? Of like the latest demon they're invoking. That looks like a boy. I know that on a bad day without makeup, a lot of women are not like the perfect ideal of beauty, right? But I'm just saying, like, kind of looks like a man there. There you go again. Again, man, just a complete fascination with throwing up these things. There you go. There you can say thumbs out, I love you. But she's not saying I love you there. And again, dude, please don't say, I'm not going to become one of those, they're all male to female, female to male. But in this case, like, I am noting the shoulders and the interesting facial structure. Help, Jesus. Pray for this person. Pray that God bless them, that they bring them out of this deception. We're not here to just mock and ridicule people. There you go again, Kara, I'm not sure. Poor girl, boy, girl. I'll just go with girl. There she is again. But I mean, it's like the Avril in the very least. It's like the Avril Lavigne thing. Or maybe, I don't think, we're not going to get to Kay in this video. No way in heck. But Katy Perry, like, if you see her without her makeup, it's just the reality of, like, these people, they've been performing magic on you on so many different levels. They look nothing like this. And this photo shoot constantly with owls. You see Drake, the owl is part of his logo, his whole branding. Justin Bieber's got the owl tattooed on him. Celebrity after celebrity you're going to find throwing up owl symbolism, tattooing themselves with owl symbolism. And it's just classic. It's another one of their symbols. There you go. There's Kara again. There she is again. Boy, they really did her. There you go. You're looking at the... See? Most people in our world are trained to look right here. Oh, look at the cute puppies. Not here, like... Oh, she's doing that one-eyed thing again. They're doing the one-eyed thing. Carl? Help! Turn off that TV with the Satan girl with the spider on her eyeball. There you go again. Can't even... You can just see it. There's like a... Even the way it's being done. It's like there's this spirit there. You can just see it. Here you go. Here she is as a unicorn. Just so you. Cara Delevingne. If somebody is friendly enough or nice enough in chat to type it out for that person, to let them know how to spell it, just so you can do your own research. Just you wouldn't even want to know. You wouldn't even want to know what this person lived. Truly, we just don't. We don't want to know. She has this tattooed, by the way. Cara has this tattooed on her wrist. Silence. Why is it that they're when they get of age and they start tattooing themselves, it's like their body becomes like this canvas of crying out. You know? Or their body, their tattoos tell the story. And help to trigger and remind them to keep it shut. Oh, here's Cardi B. Again, dude. Last place I would ever want to be on planet Earth. Everybody, they think they're having the time of their life. Meanwhile, you can look in their eyes and they're not having fun. They're just messed up. I mean, effed up. They got their drink on. They got their smoke on. Hey. That guy over there is looking at me. Hey. Look at that shorty. Meaningless. Meaningless life. If that's all you're living for in life, like, you're going to be the terror. You're going to be burned off when it comes time. That is a meaningless existence and a waste of your time here. But a lot of people do it. There's Cardi B with, I don't know who this is, her boyfriend. I guess maybe he's missing his eye. I don't know though, guys. Maybe he legit doesn't have another eye, or maybe he's a handler. Dun dun. I don't know. I don't know how the whole club works. All I know is that you got slaves and you got handlers or programmers. And the handlers themselves are slaves of handlers. It's it's insanity. Jesus, please hurry back. Please. Cardi B again. Alrighty. Alrighty, Cardi. Nice fingernail. Nice tongue touch, too. They just happened. Now that's a happenstance photograph. That was it was a shutter shot where the feathers were falling, and it just probably took about 100 pictures in like a 10-second span or something, right? But they chose the one that perfectly hides her eyeball. Mm-hmm. Corinne Reutfield, okay, whoever that is, I don't know, but happened to them too. Look at this too. Dude, it's not that shirt wasn't made that way. I'm having my Dave Chappelle, like, what is happening in Hollywood? Like, what is happening? So this, like, model for the photo shoot has, like, burned the shirt that they're wearing with this lighter that they... Alrighty. Moving right along. Moving right along. Help! Help, Jesus! That's a man. Now that's a man. I will say that much. As I'm looking to the right there, Corinne Roitfield is their name. So that's Corinne Roitfield too. And as I was looking at this too, Corinne looked like a man to me. The shoulders and that. Again, I'm not one of those, but when the shoe fits, I do acquiesce and say that looks like a man. So part of the way that I interpret this, because there is meaning in this stuff, is that if you know anything about these people, when they have the altars, the purpose of some of these altars, especially if you're a sex slave or something along those lines, is like the altar that will be brought forth is the one that can handle and endure torture. So to me, it's just very interesting that here you see in this photograph a picture of the person doing the one eye with a lighter, and clearly they themselves or someone for the photo shoot thought it'd be a cool, trendy thing to do to come over and just burn their shirt up. Because that's what I do, folks. When I walk around and like go about in the mall trying to set a new fashion trend, I just burn my clothes. And I burn my clothes and just have a bunch of holes in it, and I just walk around. Because that's fashion. Okay, so there they are again. God save the Queen. There's so much. It's as though we're all living in the game Clue. And like every single thing that you think is just happenstance, sometimes I feel that way, is like some kind of crazy next clue that just gets dropped into your lap. About it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. And your only way out is you know who? Jesus Christ. And I got no shame in saying that name. Saying Jesus Christ is not a satanic name. It's not a pagan name. It is the name of the Son of God, who was God, who was there in the beginning as the Word, and the Word was made flesh, and whosoever shall believe in him will have eternal life. But beyond that, one must also work out their salvation with a fear and trembling, and there is no contradiction in that. The lukewarm church will say John 3:16 and you stop there. That's incorrect. It's John 3:16 and those who love my Father do the will of my Father. Moving right along. Carl Lentz. This is, they broke up. This is Carl Lentz of Hillsong, New York. Carl Lentz fashion. Let's see what we got here. He's in his St. Laurent shirt and boots. Preacher style. Because my local preacher, like he gets in GQ magazine every couple months. With just the latest, he's got the latest leather bag fashion thingy that he picked up at the Beverly Hills Mall. And he's got the Rick Owens on. But yeah, they broke up. Here's Justin, by the way. Can you guys see that? He's got an eyeball on his elbow. I don't know what to think of Justin. I don't know if the whole thing's just like a punk stunt they're doing, or I don't know if there's like some part of him that's like wanting to get free. I have no clue. But I do know that if that were the case, the latter, that in steps Carl Lentz and Hillsong, who tells you like, You don't really have to change anything, brother. God just loves you exactly as you are. You know, you don't got to change. In fact, you can love to have homosexual sex with Birdman, and who am I to judge? Literally, I'm not making that up. Obviously, Carl Ince didn't say that exactly verbatim, but he said, "Yeah, we have gays and lesbians in the church. I hope we always have them. Who am I to judge them?" He said that in one of his interviews. It's not about. And let me caveat this: lest YouTube censors, like, see, this is how I get past the censors. Is like nobody's gonna want. They just can't watch a 5-hour video. Like, there's nobody at YouTube Central. They just like tap out in the first 20 minutes or so. But I'm not. We obviously we don't hate. I as a Christian don't hate gays and lesbians. I love them. I can even say, you know, the stereotypical. I've known a lot of gay and lesbian people who were super nice, giving, friendly people, right? It's never about that. I've known a lot of sinners in my life who were nice to me, who treated me well, right? It doesn't have anything to do with my personal opinion about the person. It's actually not my judgment that I'm trying to share with them, but that of Almighty God. And it's because I care for them and I care about their eternal soul that I want them to turn away from it and not just puff smoke up their butt and tell them that they can do whatever they want and it's all going to be fine. You know, that's where I fall in all this. You know, I'm very worried. In fact, I know that we're headed there, that one of these days it's going to be hate speech. That's going to be considered hate speech. To believe in the Bible, to believe in Scripture, will be deemed hateful and discriminatory. There's Carl and Justin. Just, there you go. You know, I'm always wary, by the way. That does not... Can we just all agree on one thing? Like, that just doesn't look like... I don't want to see that man in the pulpit. I just don't. I'd like for you to, like, respect the office, respect God enough to not look like you just came home late from an A$AP Rocky concert after smoking blunts with Justin all night long to roll into the next radio interview. You know, I kind of would like that out of my pastor. Okay, this is Carly Rae Jepsen. Not sure who that is, but clearly she's under some kind of control. Carmen Cass. Have you noticed this is the latest trend too? We saw that earlier in that other woman. And then we've got the Diampwort. Is that their name? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Some South African weird Illuminati rap group. She does that too. She throws up the symbols all the time too. I don't know what's happening. But like none of this is... I wanted to say none of this is attractive, but that's partly a lie. Like, there was a time in my life where I was into this kind of woman. I guess darkness is attracted to darkness. There you go. Caroline Trentini, little one-eyed. Carrie Fisher, bug-eyed as well. But Carrie Fisher, you know, Princess Leia, right? There you go. And of course, this is again why I start to believe like John Todd was right. Like, I don't think that John Todd was who like the creepy people are saying he was. Because John Todd was saying like everybody in Star Wars was an initiated witch. The reason why they were able to get away with like putting him away and shutting him up is because it was easy to point to at that time, be like, you're a whack job. And by the way, the whole theme of Star Wars is all like good versus white magic, and it's very occult, you know. Carrie Underwood, country music. Boy, they love those country girls, don't they? It's like I was watching Paul Romano recently over at Pockets of the Future. Paul, I love you, brother. Give your life to Jesus Christ someday, please. Please. You know, you're right on the right track. You're exposing all the right stuff, and I don't know what the failure to compute there is in terms of, oh, well, that's because Jesus is real, and the reason why they're all Satanists is because Jesus is real, and because I spend so much of my time fighting them, I might as well join Team Jesus because he'll protect me. But that's just that would be my advice, brother, to you. But he was talking about how they just love these country girls, because they're more stereotypically feminine. Usually, they're raised in a way where they tend to be a more feminine kind of girl or woman, and then they send them out to Hollywood and they do this to you. Next thing you know, Carrie Underwood's twerking like a Miley and covering up her eyeballs and putting eyeball tattoos on her genitals. Just saying, man. You know, Carson, everything about this picture is very wrong on so many levels. So these are apparently kid stars. This boy, and I think they're brother and sister. I don't know. She's not really of a, like, hold me age. He's not really of, like, a hold her age. He's kind of giving me some, like, Michael Aquino, Vlad the Impaler. I don't know. But as we go forward with these guys, here you go. This is the same kid again. This little blonde kid. Carson Loiters? I don't know what his name is. Here he is with another child star, Hayden Summerall. And they both, wouldn't you know it. I don't really know what they're famous for. Again, I'm just not, but I guarantee you if you've got young kids, they'll all know what they're famous for sure. You know? Cary Grant. Cary Grant, dude, we're going far. We're going far down the rabbit hole today. Cary Grant did LSD a lot, tons actually throughout his life, and also was known to. He had clearance. He actually had his own Defense Department ID that allowed him to get into Lookout Mountain Observatory, which we talked about. That's the Air Force base that Jared Leto now owns in Laurel Canyon. Marilyn Monroe had it. John Wayne had a pass to it. All these Hollywood stars would go to this known world-class film studio that the government owned to do who knows what. And then you have some of the literature, you have to do some digging, referring to that particular facility being an MK Ultra location, but also there actually is a prison not far from there that actually was known to literally participate in the MK Ultra experiments when they were officially happening. And then you have this explosion of musicians who all play the same music and dress the same, who just, like zombies, decided one day to travel to Laurel Canyon, and despite the fact that New York and Memphis, Tennessee were the two hotbeds of music at the time. And they all just arrived there at exactly the same time, playing the same kind of music and dressing the same way. And next thing you know, The hippie counterculture revolution. See, I made my popular culture. And they're in love with black arts and Crowley. Illuminati wants my mind, soul, and my body. They can't have it. No, they can't have it, no. Kari Joji Fukunaga. Just wanted to cover up his eyeball with his tie for you. Father Jim, dude, put on your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Father Jim Sitchko, Catholic priest, very well known one actually. I mean, you don't, I've not followed the man, but when I did look into this, apparently he was like very politically active. Outspoken about different presidents and would be called on to speak on different radio programs and TV shows. Of course, and he is among friends. Stories from the journey. As I throw up the Illuminati 6, everything's A-OK, parishioners. Next on the horror ride. There you go. I mean, there you go. Hi, Celine. Well, I thought you were squeaky clean. I thought you just wanted to sing Titanic theme songs. I had no idea that you were a blood-sucking Satanist. Holy cow. Or a victim. Again, it's so hard. It's so hard. You go, like, as you're observing all this, you constantly just keep going back and forth. You, like, get angry, and you're disillusioned, and then you're like, and are they a victim? And are they a victim continuing to victimize? And I want off of this planet. Please. Please, Jesus. Please. Please, God. Please return. Please return. Thank you. Chad Michael Murray. He's some kind of... He was some guy, I guess, in shows who, like, teen girls wanted to marry one day. Of course. That's how it always happens. There he is. He does it on many occasions. So we got 2 devil horn occasions from Chad. Squeaky clean Chad. He's got the Brad Pitt boy next door image, right? And now he's doing the vow of silence as well. You better know. When Nathan over at Lift the Veil, and I'm not endorsing his channel anymore, I'm not saying one way or the other, I'm just saying he talked about going through gang stalking and like like he thinks that he dated a cult multiple. My story is exactly the same thing, right? Here's why. Oh, I know. We're not well. By the time everybody knows and they can no longer hide it anyway, like, you're already going to be, like, guillotined. You know, by the time that most people have woken up to, like, holy crap, that's what's been going on behind the scenes. Chadwick Boseman, doing a little one-eyed, there he is, doing a little one-eyed mock of Christ, unless you think that's just a photo op. There he is again. Although I will say in this instance, it seems to be a contraption that requires him to do that, which is interesting. But this is the guy who was in Panther, right? Panther? Played the Black Panther? There he is again. I mean, he's at that Met Gala. I mean, obviously he's in Hollywood. He's part of the club. It's just... There's no other way around it. Hollywood is... it's Hogwarts. Think about it. Hollywood is Hogwarts. And the rest of the world is like Muggle land. But again, it's bigger than just Hollywood. But it's a good metaphor. You know, everybody's walking around Hollywood and they're like, oh, do you believe in magic? I do, but like I go home and my life is very mundane and none of that really is real. And God certainly doesn't exist. And meanwhile, like, when you're gone, like they're running back through the walls like, I would like a wand fashioned out of the holly, as the ancient druids did. Anyway. Chanel Amon. Oh, wow, we're in the C's, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. We have graduated to C category. Hadn't even realized that until now. Thank you, Chanel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you so much. Again, a very attractive, pretty people, nice people, too. You see them in interviews, you know? That's why it's so... it's so frightening. Channing Tatum. Talented people as well. They're talented. But I think what's been going on is they do this to the general population, and then if you're like, if we've done this to you and like you got like a real gift as well, like, hey, be in my next film. I don't know. Look, guys, I can't pretend to know how it all works. There's so many gray areas in all this. But what we do know is clearly there is a gang. And the symbolism is Luciferian. It's overtly satanic. You can't even, like, got the eyeball on her breast. I mean, ID magazine. They're just winking at you. Charlie XCX. Covering up her eyeball with a gem of some sort. I don't know. There they are again, channeling Madonna. Life is a mystery. No, it's not so much anymore. It was. It was at one point. Now it's a mystery. Isn't that the... Let's go back to the camera. Isn't that the interesting thing for a minute, folks? Like, it's still a mystery, but, like, it all makes sense, finally. Just wanted to comment on that. All right, Charlie Hunnam. Here he is again. Look at the ring. So we went from Charlie giving you a little one eye, and then again, and this tidbit came from Bill Schneblin. If you see them wearing skull rings, that means that they are into necromancy, which is communication with the dead. They're necromancers. Okay, Charlotte Free. She defended Terry Richardson and said he's a great guy. And she doesn't understand why all these other models were being so mean to him. So there's Charlotte Free again. Gee, I wonder if she's under any kind of control. Well, golly gee williker, I can't be sure. You don't even know what to say here. With the whole... Next. That's Charlotte Free, by the way, again. Charlotte Ramping, doing a little one-eyed symbol for you. I don't even know who they are, by the way. I don't know who that person is. But then again, I don't know, thankfully, any of these people personally. Chinoa, guess she's a musician. There she is again, same symbol. Cher, she just wants you to remember that she is a witch and she likes to channel Cleopatra. There's she loves you. Cher loves you. That's all it is. Oh, they all love you. Bunch of Shiva shares that love you. She always had a witchy. Look, if anybody's got like a witchy vibe, she was sort of like the Elvira without the get up. There you go. She just loves you again. Why don't you, instead of doing that, this would be my recommendation to the people in Hollywood that claim that they're not Satanists who throw up the gang signs constantly. If you want to clear up matters, why don't you just, when you're at the microphone, say, I love you all? Rather than throwing up questionable hand signs when your compatriots throw up the devil horn variation and that all the time. I don't know. It kind of just makes us not trust you and think you're lying through your teeth. You know? This is somebody named Cher Lloyd. Cher Lloyd again. So this video is for you. Maybe another day we'll pick up on like D. We'll go to D today. Because we've been streaming now for 5 hours. Holy cow. But, and this will get you, because people ask, like, who was that person? Well, if you got the patience and time, sit down and watch the 5-hour live streams where I will tell you who they all are. But otherwise, I don't got the time or day to sit there and tell you who every single person is in every single video. You know, that would take a long time. Longer than this is taking. To constantly have to edit and, you know. Hopefully you guys know usually. Here's Cher again. She loves you. Also, no hate. No hate. Or vow of silence. Take your pick. Or Harpocrates. Harpor. I'm sorry. Harpocrates. Just for your benefit, if you just tuned in, Google that. Learn about what they're doing, what they're showing, how far it goes back. And who it goes back to. Who is Harpocrates? Well, thank you for asking. Here, hang on. Thank you for asking, ladies and gentlemen. Harpocrates is the Greco-Roman version of Horus. And that's exactly what they're doing with their one-eyed symbolism. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Chester Bennington. Oh, he's like Avicii. Oh, he was whacked. Illuminati sacrifice, right? I mean, maybe. 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 Or maybe you're just trying to find... Maybe you're still just trying to cling on to your heroes. And you're in denial. Could be that too. No, but he was a part of it, but he was trying to expose it, you see. Really? There you go. I don't even know what this magazine is, but there you go. It's probably some I think it's a European magazine. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Melbourne, you know. There you go. There, you know, this poor kid. You know. Throw up your hands and do that, and there we go. Oh, perfect. Snap. Perfect ad. Look at this shit. I'm sorry, but look at it. Look at that. Let that soak in for a minute. Let it soak in. And then let's throw out another name there. While you're soaking that in, okay, let's take it in. Hmm? Let me remind you of this man who the BBC never exposed, who became he was knighted by the Queen and was a personal friend of Prince Charles and the Queen. Oh, but it's not Chester Bennington. No way, Jim Morrison was fighting the system, man. Wake up, brother. Wake up. Chloe Moretz. Oh, yeah. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. He's like tell you right there. There you go. She's like thinking like, oh, yeah, I'll wear anything for the photo shoot. Just give me the money. Not realizing what she's telling you. People, they're telling you like, Dave, look at what that's telling you right there. Brainwashed. Those who throw up this symbolism, who are attracted to it, mesmerized by it, promoting it, they've been brainwashed. There she is again. Lest you think it was just a coincidence, she's throwing up the... Oh, she loves you, though. She loves you. Just say, I love you, dear. That's all you got to do. Just say, I love you, and clears the whole thing up. Oh, there she is again. Oh, well, then, I see. I guess there's nothing to clear up because, in fact, you're just another case study in how the god of this age runs our world. Cord Overstreet, not sure who that is, but obviously he's part of the club. Chris Brown, here's his birthday cake. Because, ew, I don't know if you can see that or not, too. It's got, like, weird, like, sweat streaks all over. So, I don't know what to call it. It doesn't look like icing. Because I don't know about you guys, but, like, when it's my birthday, like, I get the Black Pyramid birthday cake. How about you? Is that what all your friends pitch in together? When your buddy over here's got some voodoo skull and bone hat on? They're like literally walking, talking zombies. It looks like some kind of sun tattoo that she's wearing. Again, it's like... Sometimes I wonder, like, you pinch yourself, you're like, what is real? What is my reality? How could this be? But it is. There's Chris again. There's Chris again. Oh, the two. Chris Cornell and Chester. Two Illuminati sacrifices, they say. Really. Hi, Chris. Oh, hi, Chris. But you were sacrificed by the Illuminati and you knew. You caught on to him, right? You caught on to him. You were about to expose him, right? Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt. Two good actors. These people they're all talented, like I said. They're all talented people. Unfortunately, they're all like psyoping your culture for the god of this age. Sorry to tell you. Chris Martin of Coldplay. There he is again. Chris Martin of Coldplay. Again, there's like a vacancy. The eyes. You know, they said the eyes are the windows to the soul. Nobody's home. Nobody home. Checked out. Chris Motionless. I don't know who this is, but they like to. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. There, that's the sign that I want to start exploring at some point. I need some people in the community to help me understand this one better. Because the folks that are throwing up the Illuminati symbolism all the time also throw this up all the time. And so, it could be just as simple as like a trigger. I don't know, but if anybody does know what it is, let me know. Obviously, to most people, it's "I love you." I just, in general, like gangs do this, right? Gangbangers. That's what it's always been associated with, like kind of dark, sinister people. Like I don't trust people who like communicate with one another with their hands. Is that just me, or do you guys out there too? Is there something about that where it's sneaky and underhanded? It's like they're communicating in code, and maybe you don't have the code. Yes, L Joker. Thank you for stating the obvious. You win the Captain Obvious award, and let me look at a few of your other posts to see if you deserve any other honors. I'll let it be. If anybody, let me know in the room if people are causing trouble at all at any point. Here's Chris Pratt again. That's a subtle. It's subtle. A lot of people say, "Oh, you see people sit like this all the time. You see the president do it all the time." Right? But that's a strategic go-to. There's thought behind, I'm going to place my hands in this particular fashion for you. Right? And you just have to start to understand, like they literally, I watched Matt Damon in an interview, who was he with? That guy from Mad TV who played, the coach that would do all the funny pep talks. He's on Key and Peele now. Anyway, if you go look up that interview, check out Matt Damon, what he does with his hands throughout the interview. Again, to the uninitiated means nothing. Oh, it's a world of business, power, hand play. In the occult world, it means something quite different. There you go again, just in case he just likes to pose like that. That's a little bit more explicit there in this one. So start paying attention. I don't even know why they bother communicating anymore, though, because if you're like a part of the club, you'd already know, like, yeah, they're all Satan. Like, they're all part of it too. Like, it's all good. Matt, you don't need to remind me. I just saw you at the Eyes Wide Shut at the Rothschilds last week. Come on, brother. And oh my God, are you tired of having sex with Madonna too? Sometimes I tell you, I wish I never signed up for this thing. But whatever, you gotta go to the orgies. Alright. Chris Wolstenholme, Dominique Howard, and Matthew Bellamy. I don't know who these people are, but they, everything. Right down to the serpent on the staff. The medical logo. There you go. Christian Coppola. I'm sure he's related to Francis Ford Coppola or something. Christian Dior, Vow of Silence. Yeah. He's an old school one. Again, it goes back very far. Christian Slater. There's Christian and Winona. They were in some cult classics, including one where they They murder revenged people as teenagers. Gee, does this have any effect on our culture? Quentin Tarantino, why are you so sensitive around the topic? Shutting down interviewers because you're like, I've already answered that 1,000 times. I don't even need to give you my opinion on whether I think that movies like mine and others influence the culture to commit violence. How dare you even ask that? Oh, absolutely. Let me extol how great the movies are that I make and how positive they've been. Of course, it doesn't take rocket science. Like, again, we used the example before of what happened in Laurel Canyon, because it's like, here a bunch of people come, they show up there, they all dress the same, they all play the same music. Next thing you know, next few months, years, leads into the Monterey Pop Festival, co-organized with the Manson family, Mamas and the Papas, and Terry Milchner. And then the Summer of Love, 1967. You know? Before that, you didn't see, like, the nation wasn't all hippies. No, it started with, like, Arthur Lee and Frank Zappa and, like, this small group of people that just mysteriously, they don't even know why. Neil Young said, I don't know why. I have no clue why I went to Laurel Canyon. There's probably a lot of truth to that. You probably don't have any reason why, like, a little beacon went off in you and you were like, I must go. Operation Laurel Canyon now commences. I must fly there from Canada. And we will hang out at Frank Zappa's house, across from Mama Cass Elliott's house, which is very, very close to where the Manson murders took place. And by the way, Charles Manson used to hang out with all of them. And everyone says that Charles Manson was an MK Ultra mind control victim, and he stayed at actually some of the very penitentiaries and institutions where they did the testing. And he was doing Orange Sunshine with the rest of the Manson family, and Orange Sunshine was being supplied literally by the CIA as part of MK Ultra. Charles Manson, incidentally, too, he's the clue, folks. Charles Manson's the clue. Oh, that's a deep one right there. But let's put it this way. Charles Manson was a very talented musician. He was hanging out and trying to make his break in Laurel Canyon, hanging out with all the other musicians who Dave McCowan and others' research seems to suggest may have been under some kind of mind control. So he just happens to be hanging out with all these musicians, has actually real talent. Like, if you look up Charles Manson songs, the guy could sing. And the music was actually really good. Neil Young even said he was really good. You know, this guy could have made it. But why is a guy who's like got this murdering cult as well, hanging out with all these musicians, trying to make it in the same scene where all these other characters came out of the military industrial complex or the intelligence communities, families? I mean, just David Crosby, he's part of 3 different family lines that go back 2.5 centuries that basically run this show. Like a direct descendant of some of the signers of the Constitution, of presidents, you know. And again, Frank Zappa, again, he grew up on military bases. His father was a, as a matter of fact, we should, and then we'll wrap up here. But while we're wrapping up, I'll show you some of these folks. So here's Frank Zappa, who you think is your counterculture icon. There you go. Oh, I guess he's not. Huh. There you go again. But he was so edgy and his music's so out there in punk rock. Yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever. He's a member of the club. But he was against the government and the hippies and how they order out of chaos, folks. It's time to wake up. It doesn't make sense even to me. Because order out of chaos equals like they're playing all sides. They're literally playing black and white on the chessboard. The game's rigged. But you know who can unrig the game? Psst. The Most High. The Most High. See, that's a factor they haven't accounted for. So he came from those family lines. Stephen Stills, Graham Parsons, John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas, Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison and Frank Zappa's wife went to kindergarten together at the same Naval Academy kindergarten. Because both their parents were serving at the same place. And these people just all happened. And then I believe Jim Morrison went to the same high school that Papa John Phillips went to. All these people just showed up. What are the statistics of any of this? Just show up in Laurel Canyon one day and create this drug counterculture about free love and sex and Eastern religions and all this. But you know who's behind it. You know who's really behind it. We say the government. We say it's these people. It's these people. They did this. It's the flesh. Sure, there's the flesh and blood component. But who did it? Who's done this? It's the devil, guys. None of this would be. None of this would be. This nightmare that we're currently living, where there's like cult multiples with split personalities that are demonized, walking around like mind-controlled zombies. There's only... There's only one explanation for that. Humans can commit evil. Make no doubt about that. It's the devil's job to tempt you. We're fully capable, with or without the demons, to make the wrong choice. But what we're seeing unfolding today is downright diabolical. It's preternatural. But your refuge is Christ. He will hide you in his shelter on the day of trouble. He will lift me high upon a rock. My head shall be lifted up over my... He's your refuge. Enemies. He's your refuge. In this nightmare, as somebody in the room said, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It really is. I live in an area where it's tremendously beautiful. It's a beautiful day out. The flowers are out. The birds are chirping. There's much to be grateful for. There's much to love. God created so many beautiful things. People, too, who use that wrongly to tempt people into lust and all this, but just beautiful, magnificent. You couldn't dream any of this up in a million years, but it's also a nightmare. In terms of, sure, if you could just have your own little island. Oh. Is the stream still going okay? Because I got a playback error there for a moment. Can I do a video on Scientology? Probably at some point. Boy, I'll be begging a lot of whatever, man. I've already been stalked by some hounds of hell as it was. Plus, I trust God. You know? Nothing's going to happen to me. You know, I always remind myself this, and I think it's helpful to remind everybody else too. If you're truly a born-again Christian, but you're a little worried or afraid, like, should I tell other people these things? It might be offensive. Should I try to expose this kind of stuff? You know, well, if you're born-again Christian, presumably that means that you believe in God and know that God can do anything, right? If your answer to that is no, then you're going to go back to fear state. But hear me out here. If that is the case, God's not going to... Your day, your coming home day already was determined long ago. It's already determined when you come home, how you come home. So you might as well just throw all caution to the wind, let the dead bury the dead, and follow him. That would be my recommendation. A huge part. These churches talk about we don't ever talk about the devil here. Like, a huge part of what we're here to do is expose it. That's huge. It's so big. Otherwise, people don't know. People don't even know they need a refuge. If they don't know that there's someone chasing them, why are they going to find a safe place? They're just going to walk around thinking they're safe. Meanwhile, they're about to get knifed up. I won't sing for you anymore, but I will. How should we do this? There are numerous ways I can play the music. I think we will take that route.
I will not fear the arrows or the night. As thousands fall to my left and to my right, but I will abide in the safety of your shadow, and under your wings my heart will find its rest. My eyes I see that your faithfulness will be a shield to me, 'cause I have made my dwelling place in you, God, and I am held by you, God, and here in your presence I find my refuge, oh Lord. And here in the secret I hear you whisper to me.
What a world. What a world, right?
Your presence, I find my refuge, oh
free.
And here in the secret, I hear you whisper to me.
I have to have gluten free.
'Cause I have made my dwelling place in you, God, and I'm not afraid, 'cause I am held by you, God.
All right, we're going to close out there. That was Psalm 91 by Jonathan Ogden. If you like Jonathan Ogden, you should also check out his group, Rivers and Robots. But that's it for today. Stay strong, stay blessed, stay close to Jesus Christ. He really does love you. Have a good day. Welcome back for another episode. Give me a moment here. Cue the music.
How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that He should give His only Son.
Good morning, John Doe.
To make a wretch His treasure.
It's going to be another marathon.
How great the pain of searing loss. The Father turns His face away.
KW, Wendy,
As wounds which
Light of Jesus, Carrie.
chosen
Good morning. God bless you all.
Bring
In Jesus' name.
sons to glory.
Behold the man upon a cross, my sin upon his shoulders. Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers.
It was my sin that held him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. I will not boast in anything.
That's right, David. That's
No
right.
gifts, no power, no wisdom.
T. Graz, nice to see you.
But I will boast in Jesus Christ,
Giron,
His death and
Kegel,
resurrection.
Laurel
Why
Canyon,
should I gain from His reward?
Wendy,
I
Wendy.
cannot give an answer.
Carrie,
But this I know with all my heart.
Gerard,
His
Gerard,
wounds
Liz
have
McCullers.
paid my ransom.
God
Why
bless you all.
should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer.
But this I know with all my heart, His wounds have paid my ransom.
All right, that was Salah, How Deep the Father's Love. And we're going to go ahead and just hop right into it. We're going to continue basically what we were doing yesterday, which is basically seeing whether or not your favorite, most cherished celebrity, actor, musician, may or may not be a part of the satanic cabal, which we endeavor to show you on this channel all the time. So we stopped yesterday right about here. We're still in the C's of the alphabet for the celebrities. So we had Al Sharpton yesterday earlier throwing up the symbolism. Here he is with Christina Aguilera, of course, because why wouldn't they both be cozy with one another? You know, that makes sense, right? Not really, but let us continue. Christina Aguilera again. You know, has a little eye trouble. There you go. She just wants to accentuate her eyeball for you here. This guy's named Christoph Waltz. And looks like he's just posing for a photo op here. And there he is again. He just has a little, I guess he has a little bit of lint in his eye, which most of the celebrities tend to have during their photo shoots. They seem to always have something obstructing their eye, which they're trying to get at. He's just winking at you there. Just a little wink. That's all it is. Nothing to see here. There he is on the cover of Esquire. You know. I don't really know. I suppose he's an actor. Again, I'm not always familiar with who all these so-called celebrities are, but there is Christopher Lee throwing up the devil horns. Saruman, Lord of the Rings. It's interesting, too. He used to play parts all the time he always played the villain, sometimes in overtly sort of an occult or even satanic character in some of the roles that he played over the years. And there's some famous, or at least well-known interviews where he claims that he never dabbled in the occult at all, and you know, there's actually a video where he's being asked, because there was an article at one point that claimed that Christopher Lee had one of the largest occult libraries in the world, and he did his best to debunk that, and there's nothing to that, and that people should stay away from the occult. But while we're there, as a matter of fact, let me bring up, because the next one in where would that be? I might have to go find it again. I think I know it's in a different folder. Give me a moment here. Yeah. There we go. So, but here he is, interestingly enough as well, with Nicholas Schreck, formerly of Temple of, Temple of Set, but also Church of Satan. And then he went to Temple of Set. Zena LaVey did the same thing. This is Zena LaVey, Anton LaVey's daughter, who it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone why she turned out the way she did, because you can see photos of her as a toddler hanging out on the altar where the temple prostitute would lay naked, and she'd sit there in her own little kind of hooded outfit while her dad stood nearby. So it shouldn't be any kind of surprise for why the family of LaVey ended up the way they did. It's really sad, actually. But there he is. Apparently Nicholas Schreck, Christopher Lee had a sort of a minor musical career as well, where he kind of played kind of strange classical occult music, and Nicholas Schreck produced one of his albums for him. But of course, he's not an occultist. He was not a Satanist. No, definitely not. So let us continue in our journey here. Christopher Maloney. I'm not exactly sure who. The face, obviously, I notice. He's been an actor in movies, I guess, and sitcoms. Christopher Walken. As a matter of fact, he was, I believe, on the boat where Natalie Wood was where she drowned suspiciously. Many people think it was a murder. And there's been questions about that. You might want to look into that at some point if you want. Everybody has always known that Christopher Walken is sort of a strange character. But once you know that all of Hollywood, which is again what this channel is about, and partly what it's about, and trying to demonstrate to you that all of your cherished and loved celebrities, actors, actresses, musicians are actually serving literal forces of darkness. And as wild as that claim is, once you adopt the Christian worldview and accept that Jesus Christ actually walked among us, and that he was God, that Scripture is true, it's really not so hard to understand at that point. This is the third temptation of Christ in the desert, where he brings him up on a high mountain and says, all of this can be yours if you bow down and worship me. And of course, Jesus rebukes him. He leaves, but most people, not most, well, a large percentage, let's put it that way, many people are willing to take the devil up on that offer. And we see it bore out over and over. So there's Christopher. Apparently the camera lighting in the studio there is just a little too harsh on his eyes, so he had to cover up. Christy Turlington, not sure who that is, but again, as usual, Sierra and Roshi, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. This too is when you see a lot of these celebrities throwing up the peace sign, or they'll throw it to the side too, it's another one of their symbols that they throw up. Again, the Antichrist is going to come as a man of peace in our world. And I've actually seen there's a popular meme on social media that Satan's workers, Satanists, occultists, I've seen them sharing to their profiles at times, where somebody's holding up the peace symbol, and the meme says, the sign that is going to take over the world. There were a few people that actually I knew before all that gang stalking business occurred, who posted such things. And you can definitely learn from these folks. That's Sierra again. I've never listened to her music. I couldn't name a single song of really hardly any of these celebrities. But again, a lot of people do listen to her. There she is again, throwing up the devil horns for you. But of course, she's into Black Sabbath, right? No, come on. There she is again. She's got the the goat head. And this is all important because we're about to see another picture here. This is Sierra in one of her music videos where she's got a jacket on of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which is a secret society that Aleister Crowley was a member of. And yeah. So most of Hollywood, pretty much all of Hollywood, is infatuated with Aleister Crowley, who, if you don't know is basically the ancestor of modern Satanism. There she is again. So it's not just the devil horns. It's there she is throwing that up. You know, there she is doing the what some people call the vow of silence, or this is basically the. If you look into the statues of Harpocrates, which was a Greco-Roman depiction, actually, of Horus, the child version of Horus. In all the statues, you'll see they'll put up their finger over their lips. There's different theories as to what it means, because if you're not an initiate into these things, you kind of are dependent on other people who've researched it. But supposedly it's supposed to indicate either youthfulness, or, of course, keep your mouth shut. We don't divulge our secrets to anyone. So, Cillian Murphy. This is, again, you'll see these kind of photos a lot if you hang out and watch this these broadcasts that I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to over time A to Z with you. And this is just what I have in the archive. Haven't even scratched the surface of what we can find out there. But a pretty substantial database, actually, for what it is. There he is again, doing a little one-eyed symbolism for you. And when you hear people that are in disbelief about all these things, there he is again. They think that the photographer it's just the photographers. That's a sign of someone who's in denial about what's going on. So let me get this right. It's not the celebrities, but it's like a cabal of photographers. It's all the Hollywood photographers that are a part of this cult, and the celebrities are ignorant and stupid and they don't know what they're doing. Give me a break, right? There he is again. They, for whatever reason, want you to be quiet all the time. Nobody knows why. Claire Foy. This is a classic way they like to do it. I'm sure there's probably, if we looked into this, some reason why she's holding up a Queen of Hearts, right? But I see a lot of the variations of this one-eyed theme where the celebrity will sit behind a glass of water. They're always simply trying to look for new ways to present it so that it's not, so that it looks artsy and it doesn't look like something they just keep doing over and over again. So they try to dress it up and make it seem like it's a work of art. Claudio Marchisio. Looks like this is from his autobiography. I don't know why he would even have an autobiography. Doesn't appear to be terribly important. But he must be famous in Europe, is what I'm assuming. I'm not sure who that is. Cliff Richard. Your mom and dad, or if you're older, tuning into the broadcast, you'll be familiar with him. There he is again. He's a knight as well. He's been knighted. So those are always, anytime you see that there's been a celebrity that's been knighted, be very suspect, because you can pretty much name them off. So there he is. He's a Knight of Malta, which is a Catholic order. It's very bizarre. There he is again, right after he got knighted. This guy's named Clueso. This is another variation of the theme. A lot of times they'll cover up their eye and then they'll have some kind of eyeball variation to replace their eye with. It's so stupid. Coca-Cola. have a nice Coca-Cola, right? So they implement this in advertising a lot. Pretty much, again, it's not just your celebrities, it's a who's who of who you buy your food from, your snacks from. You know, it's everywhere. It's really, literally everywhere. There's Conan O'Brien, you know, donning the classic Illuminati owl symbolism for you there. When he did a gay wedding ceremony, the first in New York, I believe, on his show. And interestingly, I can't. The name of the so-called church is eluding me at the moment, but he conducted the ceremony as a minister for a certain church, which a lot of these celebrities are a part of. It's definitely like a New World Order Illuminati church, and Hunter S. Thompson was also a part of that. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he's also in it as well, and all kinds of other celebrities are part of it. Coco Chanel, she's just telling you everything's okay. Now, again, this could be, you know, this is one where you could look at it and say, well, they just caught a photo in the middle of her talking and she was probably just making a point. Maybe. Maybe not. Coco Roca. There you go. Over here doing a little one-eyed 666. There she is again. Boring theme as usual. Cody Simpson, he's just saying that's all they're doing, guys. Go back to sleep. They're just telling you everything's A-okay. Because that makes sense. Cole Moore. There you go again. Just letting you know this whole winking business. Don't ignore it. Don't say, well, people wink sometimes. No. When it comes to these photo shoots that these celebrities are doing, it's something else entirely. So it's in line with these two down here, covering up their eyeball. It's so bizarre. And again, if we had the time, I wish that there were better sites that analyze thoroughly all the tattoos that these people have, because you'll find, kind of like with Cara Delevingne that we were looking at yesterday, Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, their skin almost starts to become like a canvas through which they cry out or advertise. So there's Cole Moore again. There he is again. I'm supposing he's in fact, let's look at some of these tattoos here. SDAALY. Tattoos are really stupid. There's the classic eye patch, which you'll notice you'll find tons of these celebrities who have no eye trouble whatsoever, perfectly functioning eyeball, but for whatever reason they like to don the eye patch for you because it's trendy, it's fashionable, right? There he is again. Again, this guy must be. We don't want to know what happened to these people. We really don't. There he is. This is another guy. I'm sorry, Cole Sprouse. So he's a model, I believe. Again, just a little droopy eye problem. If you look at these people too, I mean, look at these are the people that a lot of the younger generation looks up to. They want to be like. Look at it's a model. The bags under his eyes. It looks like he's either been crying for days or just been binging on all kinds of drugs. But nothing new for Hollywood. Colin Farrell here. And, of course, this is a Gematria magical number that they all like. The Occult loves their numerology. There's Colin Firth, sort of. Now, it's not just that he's accentuating here. Look here, too. He's literally intentionally covering this eyeball up. Also kind of alluding to Kiss, Gene Simmons, and that's a pentagram as well, a star. So you got everything here. There's Colin Firth again, because who doesn't? Don't you guys just casually rest your hand like this on your face all the time? I mean, I know I do, right? We've already gone over most of these people. Concha Buika, not sure who that is, but I think she's famous overseas. There she is again. It's global. Again, that's another point to realize. It's when we say Hollywood, we basically are just talking about the entertainment industries, which are basically brainwashing our culture. This is Conchita Wurst. This is a transgendered man. It's a man who dresses like a woman. There you go. Lest you wanted to know whether there might be an agenda afoot. There you go. Connor Franta. Corey Feldman, of course. I'm sometimes not sure what to make of Corey Feldman. There's part of me that suspects that the reason why so many, because the people that hung out with Michael Jackson all the time, Corey Feldman, Macaulay Culkin, and tons of others, they all show the signs and they all deny anything happened, nothing happened at all, but they all throw up the signs and symptoms of somebody who may have been through abuse. And again, when we're talking about the kinds of things that occur in MK Ultra and satanic ritual abuse, the personality is split to such a degree where the main functioning personality literally will not have a memory. In their mind, no, nothing ever happened. And Michael Jackson too, from the time he was a child, was throwing up the signs and symbols, covering his eyeball, throwing up the 666, throwing up the vow of silence as well. So he again was, both victim and likely perpetrator, right? Corey Haim, poor guy. Courtney Cox from, there she is, I believe with her daughter, from Friends, right? Oh, really? Come on. These were the popular shows of the 90s, These people weren't. They couldn't be occultists and say, come on, come out of your sleep soon, sometime. It's really sad when you see, like, the children doing it with them. Madonna, you can find photos of her with her kids, too, and they're doing it. That Asia Argento as well. It's really creepy. So here's Courtney Love and Francis Bean Cobain. Everybody wants to say Kurt Cobain. I get these comments sometimes on the back end where people want to claim their celebrity is free from all this. Kurt, why did you include Kurt? Well, because Kurt's like covering up his eyeball all the time. That's why. And what did Kurt Cobain really... What was so redeeming, frankly, about Nirvana's music? And everybody wants to say they were, these people were against the norm and establishment. Number one, that's not necessarily, we're sort of talking about the seed of rebellion, number one. But also had a very kind of anti-Christian slant in his worldview and music. And the guy literally committed suicide in the end. And this is to a certain subculture of our society a hero. This obsession with death is ridiculous. That's why everybody's in love with Marilyn Manson and all the. It's really sad. Cristiano Ronaldo, I believe he's an athlete, maybe a football player. Christina Otero, not sure who that is, but there you go. There she is again. I think she's a photographer and artist. You know, you can you can just become famous. You have to have some talent. I mean, the art skills, if it weren't what she's doing here, I mean, vibrant colors, it does look kind of nice. But there it is. You got to throw out the symbolism. Christina Scabia and Lacuna Coil. They're musicians. So it's how they like to mock Jesus too. You notice that a lot of I've noticed some of the Satanists, they like to wear shirts like "Not Today, Satan," and there's a lot of Christians that like those shirts as well, but they're always mocking Jesus. You know, this is, I think, they're at the birth of a baby, if I remember. And don't ignore this too. Look what he's doing with his eye there. Guys, it's time to wake up already. We're not the crazy people who are seeing things. You could make that argument if it wasn't literally all of them. Here's Christina Scabia again, devil horns, and if we look at her ring here, we can't make it out real well, but it's a skull ring, which again, if you were watching yesterday, here's another skull ring over here. That means in the occult that you're a necromancer. You practice necromancy. You communicate with the dead. So that means she's probably doing seances and the like. There she is again. There she is again. Boy, they like to hold up the cards a lot, don't they? There she is again. Another skull ring. If we were able to look, I wish I could see these a little bit better. Could be another gray alien theme, possibly. You'll notice that a lot of these, I think it's because, you know, that's a video that I'll do in the future of the connection, a better video than the one I did previously. The connection between people who have reports of satanic ritual abuse and the so-called alien abduction experience, because there's a tremendous amount of crossover there. Here she is again. Again, with the eye patch theme again, and throwing up the 666. Are you starting to, folks, are you starting to see a trend, or are we all just still silly conspiracy theorists who think that the devil runs your world? Because these people always just so happen to have an affinity, or at least enough of them have an outward affinity for the devil that you start to connect the dots as to what the signs and symbols actually even mean. There's plausible deniability if it was just all squeaky clean, folks. Aleister Crowley too. There's some famous photos of him. Let me show you here. See if I can find that photo. I tell you, it helps to have all this on the ready to go. No, it's somewhere in here, but maybe I'll find it a little later. But that's her again. Anyway, there's a famous photo of him in a full robe with like a hooded robe, where he's doing the vow of silence. Daisy Lowe,